Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's sales user webinar. We'll be covering WeEstimate, reporting, and forecasting. My name is Brandon Vieira, and instructing us through will be Stephen Nasty. After this webinar, you'll be able to get the most out of standard reports and how to generate them, understand the URG and how to track your data, and navigate various types of forecasting within our system, as well as the different types you can use. As always, we want you to get the most out of your time today, so if you have questions at any time throughout the webinar, don't be shy. Even if it's because we've gone too fast and you want to see or hear something again, just let us know in the chat. But we've got a lot to get through, so let's get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. Hello, everybody. And yeah, as Brendan had mentioned, today's going to be kind of talking about our reporting tools that we have in WeEstimate. I'm also going to showcase WeOpportunities reporting a little bit as well. A couple clients have reached out to me ahead of the webinar, seeing if we can show, the WeOpportunity ERG. So going to do that as well. So really, for me, what I wanted to start off with is forecasting. So what's important to know with forecasting is set up in Tools Program Options. Now, this is an admin, right? So if there's any sales users here, you might not have access to this, but this is where it's controlled. So Tools Program Options, forecasting. And then what we have is we have two different types of forecasting. We have standard, which is, gives you your kind of typical probable close 30, 60, 90, your 30, 60, or 90 days, and then the percentage of close for that time frame. So by default, we give kind of these default values here, 90%, 80%, 70%. And then we have these fields here. Probable close date, 30 days ahead. Next action date, 2 days ahead. These are all customized. These are just kind of the kind of out of the box options. But what these do is when you make your job, it will automatically plug in this information to the estimate. And I'll show you where this is in a little bit here. But this will basically give you a probable close date of 30 days from job creation. So if we were to create it today, the probable close date would be September 20th. The next action date 2 days ahead. So within 48 hours, the system will have you basically say your next action is this. And next actions, those can be anything from doing a call, sending an email, maybe like an on-site visit, something like that. Weighted forecast is a little bit deeper. So weighted forecasting gives you two different tabs here. You have the forecast setup, which is familiar to what we saw before, your probable close date and your next action date. But it also adds in this weighted forecast. So weighted forecast is going to be a pipeline that you can select. All of these descriptions and percentages, all these things are fully customizable. Again, it just probably need an admin right to do so. So all of these things can be anything from like discovery process, site meeting, estimate creation, and things like that. Also, what's important to know is with forecasting, you can either only have standard or weighted turned on in your system. So it's either one or the other, and it's global for all users. Forecasting is controlled within your job. So if you have WeEstimate open right now, you're going to be looking at the third tab over with the green $ called forecast. And then in here, you're going to see kind of a static field with, depending on which type you use. We use weighted just because we like the kind of the additional level of information there. If you were to click on edit, this allows you to edit your information. So with this, we have weighted forecast, so we can select how far along the job is. So let's just say this job is fairly new. We're at estimate creation, 50% of the way done. Probable close date, pulled from when the job was created, plus 30 days. I made this job yesterday, so it defaults to then. The next action item, this was a data list that I was talking about. All of these are fully customizable. So we're taking a look at your system and you're only seeing a couple different options, or maybe you're not seeing really much of anything at all. You can go ahead and select something from here or have an admin build it out for you through the data list options in program options. But let's just say the next action item is a follow-up meeting. Let's just say maybe we have to go through some information about the quote, maybe a budgetary type of thing. Next action date, pulled 2 days from job creation. So we have August 22nd, and we'll click on save. So once that information is plugged in, it will carry over with those fields. Weighted sale and weighted RMR will take the percentage along of the job, 50%, and calculate it based off of that. So you're seeing $0 right now just because we have $0 in the job. Let's just see. We can add a couple parts here. And we'll see here that the weighted sale turned into half of this. So we have 92.62. The weighted sale took 46.31, which is 50% of, which is the estimate creation, 50% of the sell. Yeah, so I hand go up. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them right into the chat. I'd be more than happy to help in any way that I can. I'll keep my chat open. I saw a hand go up if you want to go ahead and type that question. We'll give that a couple seconds to come in. But this is basically what forecasting is in our system. It ties in a little bit to the ERG and the various reporting tools as well. So if there's any questions, I'll keep that tab open. Do we get a notification for the next follow-up action? Great question, Wayne. That actually is going to be coming later on this year. So at the moment, no. But what we estimate and we opportunity are doing. So kind of a small sidebar here. We opportunity is getting integrated into quote anywhere as a product later on this year. And with that, we are building a brand new notification system that has automated emails coming out of it. So you're able to track things like next action item and, and calendar invites and things like that. So at the moment, no, but you're able to, later on this year have that ability. Now, I see the frowny face, and I'm sorry, but Wayne, something that you can do is within the opportunity, you can track your appointments and tasks and things along those lines through our global calendar. So you're able to use the global calendar through something that we call an auto sync. The We Opportunity Auto Sync synchronizes to Microsoft Outlook or Google or Gmail, whichever one you use as an organization, and it carries over and syncs all of your appointments, and it's bidirectional. So you can have anything within Outlook it carries over to We Opportunity. Anything you have within We Opportunity carries over to Outlook. So there are some ways to do it, Wayne. Just at the moment, there isn't, but that's coming later this year. Our next actions, global or individually customizable? Great question, Jennifer. They are global. So these are controlled within data lists. So if you go to Program Options and Tools, Appearances, Data Lists, there's going to be a category here called Next Action. And this is what controls the list. So these are for all users, not individual. Okay, guys. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. So as the questions come in, I have the tab open. I can always monitor that. But for right now, that's really forecasting within WeEstimate. There are some things within WeOpportunity as well. So I can pull open a lead here. And we'll just go ahead and open this guy up. So with WeOpportunity, it's slightly different, but the general feel of it is the exact same. So this is our WeOpportunity. For forecasting tools that we have here, they're all controlled within the lead itself. Within the lead, we have fields like proposal due date, we have an estimated close date, we have pipeline, which again, fully customizable and it is global. So anything here that you see, these percentages and descriptions, these are all system wide. So you can select your pipeline and any sort of next actions are selected here as well. So that's kind of the forecasting within WeOpportunity. It is different than WeEstimate, but kind of the general feel and look is the same. Okay. So what I wanted to do, kind of picking up on forecasting, I do want to show reporting that we have within our software. So the biggest tool that we have is the Universal Reporting Grid. The Universal Reporting Grid has all of the tools that you would have to monitor and interact with all of your quotes that you created, as well as anybody else. The question came in, can you generate a report from WeUp? You can. Yes, you can. It would just kind of specifically specifically, I don't know what you would be looking for, but we have reporting tools within WeOpportunity. I'm actually to get to that in a little bit, which will we estimate, then transition over. But the ERG within we estimate, this is the brand new version of it. So this is the latest on 6.10. With 6.10, which is the latest build, we kind of went into the ERG and gave it a little bit of a facelift. We changed a little bit of the interface. We added 5 new columns: uh, total labor hours, labor cost, labor sell, and material cost, material sell. So all of those 5 columns that were added are all completely a part of the brand new ERG. We also changed things like the column chooser. On the older versions, if you're looking at this right now and you're kind of following along, the older columns had like this kind of little, uh, it was called like a field explorer or something along those lines. And it was always like the left of estimate. And it was this tiny little box with like 6 lines going through it. A lot of the feedback we got was that it was tough to see, it was hidden, and it was kind of hard to follow and find. So now on the new build, column chooser has its own dedicated button. So it's kind of there, easy to follow, easy to use. So just to give a walkthrough of the ERG. The ERG has a couple different sections. To start, you have sales team, which this is there for you if you are overseeing a couple different users or if you want to take a look at other people's jobs, things like that. By default, your information will always be the one that's selected. But you can select multiple if you want to see other people's jobs. So let's just go ahead and take, since this is a demo environment, let me just pull people that I know would have some information. So let's take these 3, for instance. So once you have your salespeople selected, you have filters on the bottom. Filters allows you to select a specific type of field. Generally speaking, these are mostly statuses, but there are things here such as, active quote, archived, or exclude $0 estimates. Exclude $0 estimates if you have any estimates within your system that were won or are active with $0 in them, i.e., something that's just created, or maybe it was won for $0. You can exclude them here. Archive, by default, the system does not include archived jobs into reporting, but if you want to check that out, you can check off this to include the archived quotes. Active quote is something to do with if you have multiple quote packages or revisions that you're working with on the customer that you've sent out. This will only take the most active, the most current revision for that quote. By default, I would say a lot of the times people will leave these blank and then specifically look for, everything or maybe a certain type of filter. So right now, let's go ahead and just select one job. So once we did that, we're seeing here that we have the totals changed. So for the top here, we're going to see that we have for the calendar year sales and quotas broken out by quarter. By default, the system uses kind of the standard calendar quarters. But if you or if your company has, kind of customized corporate quarters that you guys use, I know sometimes start their fiscal year, a little differently. You'll have those values kind of already in your system. But in this, we can see here that for Q1, we've sold X amount of dollars. For Q2, Q3, Q4, we have our total sales for the year versus our quota. So anything with brackets means that we've passed our quota. So, Johnny has been doing very, very well, it looks like. He's passed his quota by $140,000. It tells you a percentage of your quota that you are ready to hit. So Johnny has 150% of his quota already done for the year, which is great. He's killing it. And Joe at the very top, or Jack at the very top, has 8% of his quota, but he also has a significantly loftier goal. Scrolling down to the middle, as I clicked before, this is your column chooser. So by default, the system activates all of these columns. There are a ton of different columns here. I do have a support article on our support site that goes into what every single one of these articles mean. So if you are interested in using the erg and you're not too sure what certain columns are, it's in that guide and it's kind of broken out by column and it gives you a breakdown. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory, right? Like archive will basically say yes or no, and things like that. But if you need that breakdown, I have it typed out for you. So these are all of the columns. We'll get back to this in a little bit. We have our time frame. So by default, it's a year, but you're able to do a specific range. So if you want to, look for a specific time frame, if you want to do by quarter, you can. All that information is available to you. So right now, just to make it easy, we're having the entire calendar year of 2024 selected. I mean, we're not necessarily in the back half just yet, but we're having data for the first maybe 3 quarters here. As you select your statuses and your filters, the bottom left corner changes to match the fields. So we have 49 records, 49 sales, and it's 49 to 49 because we're only doing one jobs. We have, just shy of, 750,000 in sales. Our average GP of all the one jobs were just shy of 33%, and we have $22,000 of RMR for the year. If you right click anywhere within the ERG for reporting, you can export to Excel. And what the system will do is it will look for your default export path. And if the system can find Excel and it has it installed, it'll spit out a report very similar to the report that I have right now. And it'll keep all of those totals for you, so you don't necessarily have to worry about doing any of the calculations yourself. To make your life even easier, we have something called a view. So what views are the ability to create and save custom interfaces within the ERG. Wayne, I saw your question on where we can get the guide. I will send you a link in 2 seconds here. Let me go ahead and find that article for you. Okay, here you go. I'm going to put this in the chat. I don't know if anybody can see that, but in the chat in the GoToMeeting, I just put a support.wesuite.com link, which is the article for the ERG column walkthrough. So if you click on that, that's going to give you a complete breakdown of what every single column means and what was new in 6.10. Okay. So to kind of continue on what I was talking about before, the what views do is views create a customized interface for the kind of what you're seeing here for reporting. So these are some of the views I created, just kind of with specific things in mind. But to create a brand new view, you're going to click on this little green plus here called Add View. You give it a name. We're just going to call this August 2024 view because I am not creative with names. And then what you would do is you would select your columns. So let's just say here that we don't necessarily need some of these. As I'm doing this, you're seeing this little bar just get larger and larger and larger, which basically just means that we have less information out in present in front of us. So we'll go ahead and just select some or deselect some information here. Okay, that should be good for right now. As we're doing that, we now have kind of the columns that we're ready to use. If you do have multiple salespeople selected, so let's say you're doing this and you have like a branch that you're responsible for, or a couple people that you're working with, this information saves as well. So if you just want to view anything other than yourself, you can select that there. Also, something to note is that all of these columns can be dragged and moved. So if you want to have a variety or a kind of a different style, you can. Also, the ERG supports something called a column filter or a column header. If you drag this column up to the very top, you can sort by a specific field. So let's just say I dragged customer to the top. I can now view a customized grid to show a report based off of every customer and just that customer itself. So let's just say I take, Glenn's Gardens, for instance. It's a customer that I work with a lot in my demo environment. I can see here that I've sold 22 jobs to Glenn's Gardens, averaging, just shy of 33% GPM. Here's a GP profit for just that customer. The total material cost, total material sell, labor hours about 1,500 hours, uh, and a total labor sum. Maybe just make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Apologies. And you can see things like total labor cost, total labor sell, and then any kind of pass-throughs. So this is one of my favorite things to do with the erg is to take specific, kind of fields like this and play around with them and just see, what, kind of specific things you're looking for. Like post approval status, for instance. Like if you are an approver and you're on the call, you can drag and drop this to the very top and see, what things have been approved and what currently are, waiting for approval. Yep. So the college user, Dario, for your question, is a 6.10 ish as a 6.10 enhancement. But the column chooser currently exists. If you're on anything like 6.9 or before, you're going to see like this little tiny box where I'm moving my mouse right now. It's gonna be pretty tiny, and I apologize for that. But if you click on that, it's going to give you kind of the exact same window as the column chooser here. It's just you might have to just expand it a little bit more. Got it. Perfect. Beautiful. And then your question said, is that for all sales for 2024 by customer? It would be depending on your date range. So right now I have year for 2024 with all four quarters selected. But if I just wanted to focus, let's say on quarter Q1 or the first half of the year, or if I just wanted to say let's just focus on the month of August, uh, I can go ahead and just view something similar to that. So it really ultimately depends on what time frame you have selected, and that currently reflects the data that you would have. But you can do this column for every single column you had selected. If you want to filter by customer address, some people will have it for multiple sales team members. So like you can sort by the salesperson who's owning the job. So all that information is there, and those all save. So if you want to have it filtered a certain way, like let's say you like this customer filter, once you have your view selected, click on Save View. It's going to get this pop up that's just going to say you're going to overwrite your suggestion, what you currently have. You click on Yes, and the next time you open up the ERG, all you have to do is select your view here, and it'll spit out this report for you with your columns the way you want to have them viewed, with all the kind of the assortment of them, the order of them. That's all built in. And that's essentially the we estimate erg. There's a lot more here that I would say, and what's nice about this is there are some columns here, and of course I hid I hid all of them that would do that. There are columns here, like let's just turn on forecasting, for instance. So I believe forecasting is one of them that I can do this on. No, maybe not. So there are columns within the ERG that allow you to select and adjust them on the fly. So if you have, I'm just trying to remember those columns. I thought they were forecasting, but let me see here if I can find them. Oh, I guess maybe not. Maybe they changed that. Yeah. Okay, I have to check with development on that to see if maybe they changed that. But there used to be at least columns that you can select a little drop down tab and change them. Generally speaking, they were dates and next action item and things like that on the fly. So you're able to manipulate those. But I have to double check to see if maybe they took that out. But that's still the estimate erg. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Go ahead and type them right into the chat. And what I'm going to do really quick is show you the opportunity erg. Um, so this is the opportunity erg, and let's go ahead and, or it's not the erg, this is the erg. Uh, this is the opportunity erg. Let me just refresh it so it just fixes the resolution. I apologize, I'm working from home today. Moved into my new place, so the resolution's a little wonky on my monitor. Uh, so this is the opportunity erg. So you can get to it by clicking on the opportunity erg, which is the first option under reports. At the very top, you can include my opportunities. So similar to WeEstimate, you have the ability to filter by your own stuff or not include your stuff. You have your date range and date filters. So it defaults to yearly, but you can do quarterly, monthly, weekly, or a specific range. You can pick your year in this case. What you would like to filter on. So you can filter on created date or sold date or last updated date. In this middle section here, these are all of your statuses. So if you click on the little clear box, it wipes everything out. If you click on the solid box, it highlights all your statuses for you and selects all of them. Select My Employees is if you want to view a specific branch. You can click on the little drop down and see all of the branches within that region, or you can simply just click on the outermost checkbox to automatically select everybody in there. I'm lazy, so I like to select just the outer checkbox. Once your information is plugged in, simply just click on this refresh button, and this will spit out all the information based off of that. So the opportunity erg has the opportunity summary and opportunity details. The summary is exactly what it says. It's basically a quick hitting summary of it's quick hitting summary of all of the names, the owner of the job, the statuses, the counts of those statuses, the estimated sale, and the estimated RMR. Does the opportunity pull in the numbers from the estimate? It does. So the only caveat to that is, so the question was, does the opportunity pull the information and the numbers from the estimate? And it does. However, it has to be created within We Opportunity first. So if you follow the kind of the pipeline of lead to job, when you work on that job, you win it or you lose it, any sort of information there will write back to We Opportunity. So it will reflect the status. So if there's a status change, whether it's won or lost, it'll write back. And then let's say you win the job for $50,000, it will write back to that corresponding lead with a new opportunity for the sell now. So in this case, there's 123 total leads, opportunities, things like that. Here's the estimated sale and the estimated RMR. Sometimes these can be budgeted out, where you have your budget call with the client primarily, or these will write back with the final sell. Opportunity details. So let me go ahead and just close out of this so it's easier to read. Opportunity details is kind of the bigger version of the report. In opportunity details, you have all of your information. You have processing start, days of process. Very similar to the WeEstimate version. By default, we have a ton of fields here that we create and have available for you. Similarly to WeEstimate, we do have a column chooser. Now, as I mentioned before, WeOpportunity is getting completely redone and implemented into our Quote Anywhere tool. So a lot of what you're seeing right now may not have the same look, towards the end of the year. But these are all the columns we had selected. And the same concept here. If you go ahead and uncheck any of these columns, it will alter the data behind the scenes. So we'll go ahead and just say, maybe let's get rid of that. Let's plug out some information here. Okay, that should be good. So the information is there. Same concept with WeEstimate. We do have the ability to add a view. Through WeOpportunity, you would click on this Add View button. You give it a name. So we'll just call this OS 2024 View. You have the ability to make it a default. So one of the differences between WeOpportunity to WeEstimate is WeOpportunity has a default view. So you can mark this as a default. And basically all that does is when you open the ERG, you immediately have this view generated for you. With WeEstimate, it kind of spits out the data, just at a quick glance of everything there. And then you would just toggle your view that you would want to see the information with. So we'll click on that. We'll save that view. Both tabs can be exported to Excel. So if we click on the Export to Excel button, it'll spit out an Excel file we can have and save. Same concept like WeEstimate. It'll spit it out if it can find Excel on your computer. That's the one view. Opportunity details. Same concept here. We would select our path. And this view has the bigger information that we had selected. Same concept with WeEstimate. We have the ability to sort and focus on certain fields. So if I want to focus by created by, I can drag that to the top and I can see, broken out all the leads and all the jobs created for a specific owner. So this would be the sales rep. If I wanted to do something like, customer, let me see here if I had that selected. I may have hidden it with the view. That's okay. I could do things like lead source. I could drag that to the top and say, like, let's say if I wanted to track things like, how the leads are coming in, current customers versus, other specific things that it may have. So that's the WeOpportunity ERG in a nutshell. Again, I will throw in another article into the big chat here just to give a walkthrough. This is one of the articles I made actually a year ago today that gives you kind of a walkthrough of WeOpportunity and how to kind of follow through everything that I was talking about today. Both of those are in the chat window, so you can see both the WeEstimate and the WeOpportunity walkthrough for both. And are there any questions about any of the information we covered today? Uh, Anything based off of the reporting, any on forecasting, anything along those lines? All right. Well, awesome. So if nothing else, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Brandon, who will wrap us up and let us know what's coming down the pipeline. Brandon?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and hopefully you're comfortable with everything that we reviewed. If you need to refer to this webinar again, it'll be posted on our website by the same time tomorrow at wesuite.com/webinars, also under the Training Webinars tab, which is under the Education header. Next month's webinar for sales users is on September 17th, and it will be a deeper look into the WeEstimate and WeOpportunity ERG, or as Stephen said, the Universal Reporting Grid. Take care and have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, everybody. Have a good one.